So we have here, this has been going on for many, many decades. I'll be focusing mostly on the 80s, 90s, and beyond. So Mrs. Doubtfire was one of the first super mainstream films, even technically billed as a family film, where children were exposed to a grown man in drag. Mainstream media here. Not that there weren't instances in decades prior, there was always a certain amount of this. You can find, see, sometimes cross-dressing was used as a gag. So again, let's not fall for false dichotomies. It's possible certain people thought it was kind of funny, and it wasn't an Illuminati humiliation ritual. We'll be getting into that, because I think one of the most important things here is to delineate, because we're not going to fall for false dichotomy. Everything is not an Illuminati humiliation ritual. I'm probably one of the few people that might even doubt John Cena's Oscar performance on giving the Wardrobe award while not wearing wardrobe. Everybody was saying that was Illuminati humiliation ritual. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. We're going to get into John Cena. But I wouldn't put it at the top of the list as most obvious, because he was technically still wearing something. Somebody posted some behind the scenes video, and then they put him in a toga. I'm not 100% sure. Everybody kind of claims that the John Cena Oscars thing was an Illuminati humiliation ritual. I'm going to point to things, even with Cena, that were clearly Illuminati humiliation rituals. That one's a little bit more iffy for me, but we'll continue examining. So Mrs. Doubtfire here, 1993. So children, millions of children are exposed to the normalization of a man in a dress pretending to be a woman. I mean, think at the time. See, I remember when this movie came out. Everybody had it. Everybody had a VHS copy. I mean, it was so popular. I mean, is there anybody in the chat here who at least hasn't heard of the movie, let alone see it? I don't remember it. I watched it in 93. I wasn't into it. I wasn't a Robin Williams fan, and I wouldn't say it was my intuition telling me that this was weird. I just had zero interest in this kind of movie. That was just me. So it's not that I thought it was satanic and I didn't watch it because I thought it was satanic. The movie just didn't interest me. I was just never a Robin. Call me crazy. I didn't really watch any of Robin Williams' movies. Good Will Hunting is probably one of the only ones I've actually seen. So, again, I can't speak to his entire filmography, although he happens to be in this other movie just 3 years later, known as The Birdcage. Anybody find that weird? Anybody find that weird? So Robin Williams, not just Robin Williams, you got Gene Hackman in this, you got a lot of A-listers in this. And again, did this simply further the normalization of cross-dressing? Yeah, I mean, and Robin Williams, his whole life and death, highly suspect. And he was front and center for a lot of Hollywood. You can't deny that. And here's where I think a lot of this is going to start to make sense. I think a certain percentage are almost unwitting MK Ultra participants. And that's why they're so conflicted. That's why they have mental health issues. That's why there's so much of this where it's not that they were evil and they were a part of it intentionally from the beginning by design. It's that they were hoodwinked and possibly MK Ultra programmed against their own will. So that's also another reason I never liked throwing everybody under the bus in Hollywood, because it might not be their fault. At a certain level, it might not be their fault. Yeah, almost every A-lister has cross-dressed, and we'll be getting into that. I mean, but these were kind of the first movies that were super, super big. And there was also the 95 movie To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. I don't even want to get into that, but that was Wesley Snipes, which was surprising. Patrick Swayze and John Leguizamo. And that one really tipped the balance. That was in 95. That was actually the year before this, but they were coming out at about the same time. Yeah, Tootsie was before Mrs. Doubtfire as well. I've never seen that. That was 82, actually, yeah. I mean, I don't know. That wasn't, was that actually kind of, was that marketed towards kids, though? I don't think it was, but Mrs. Doubtfire was. Doubtfire was 93, Tootsie was 82. Which is early 80s. I mean, there were always movies like this, here and there. But it seems like Doubtfire was the first mass marketed, including towards children. And we'll be getting into the issues on why they're marketing this stuff towards children. It's really dark. I mean, it's really, really dark. And you even had incidents like this. Like, remember when the whole... I mean, this is so tough because this overlaps a lot, and I'm trying to be really specific here. Because you have Oscar de la Hoya here in this snap, as well as many other people who've been caught cross-dressing. I mean, it's kind of a... Wasn't it a joke? It was a joke in a lot of movies. Yeah, cross-dress on the weekends. I mean... I think Will Smith used that joke in multiple movies, actually. Cross-dressing on the weekends. It was like a specific joke. I don't know the origin of that joke. Yeah, Ving Rhames. I mean, everybody's kind of been forced to do it, so to speak. I mean, even Oscar de la Hoya in the club. So again... Let's not fall for false dichotomies. I think there are people. I mean, I don't know. Is Mike Tyson really in the club? I mean, I don't know. But I think there are certain people that reach the top levels that aren't in the club. Just my opinion. I think it's possible. I think it's very rare. But I think there are some people who are able to achieve fame and fortune without selling their souls. Not a lot, but I think some can. I don't know. I mean, Mike Tyson's just so honest. Lord Zed saying we'll find out about Mike. He's just so honest. I don't know. Yeah, so we're about to go deep into MINDSHOCK land. Who's ready? Who's ready here? I think most people are going to predict where I'm going next on the whistleblowers. We're going to 2006 now for this interview and the beginning of the unraveling of the agenda. The beginning of the whistleblowers, where it can no longer be denied. Hello, Mr. One-to-One in the chat. You're in for a doozy. We just did a quick background on Freemasonry, and now we're getting into Hollywood. We are getting into the Hollywood satanic rituals. If YouTube will allow. Oscar de la Hoya is the one in the middle. Former boxing champ. Wow, 300 Trim said Kurt Russell did a quick cross-dress in Tango and Cash. Did he really? That's messed up. Alright, I'm trying to bring up this highly controversial interview. Oh, here we go.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like, when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress.
I mean, I don't know why he's specifically only talking about black men, because obviously this happens to everybody, but, you know, whatever. He's going to focus on what he's going to focus on.
This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer, I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. It's the writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on. And, what? A prostitute? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable.
Cammy in the chat saying here, everyone says Dave Chappelle never wore a dress or sold out, but he sold out a long time ago and he's worn the dress twice. Do you have dates on that? So it is kind of suspicious that they would allow him to even get on Oprah and say all these things. Cammy, I'm with you on the suspicious nature of Chappelle being allowed to freely say this on Oprah and have his own special where, so he turned down supposedly 50 mil and then he came back for 100 mil. So in order for that all to be possible, you would think he would have had to sell out for it. You would think, unless he was cloned and the clone sold out and he never did. Who knows? Anybody have dates on Chappelle wearing a dress? I never followed Chappelle, so I don't know, but he's clearly blowing the whistle on it here.
With it. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it. I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes in. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then, like, the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress. What is wrong? What is this, Brokeback Mountain in here?
So what's going on here? If Chappelle didn't sell out, did Oprah not know what he was going to say here? Because there are certain micro expressions from Oprah where it looks like she's actually angry at him, because obviously she's in the club. In the chat here, people are saying Dave wore a dress in Robin Hood Men in Tights, and then he also wore it in a radio interview in the 1990s. Interesting. That's weird. So do you think if he was also MK'd Ultra'd, did he not remember that? Because it seems like he's being honest here. Or are you saying he's flat out lying? Or does he have these split alters? Or is it a clone that wasn't aware of that? I mean, I don't know. This is weird. Yeah, I found the clip. Dave Chappelle did indeed wear a dress in Men in Tights 1993. I'm going to put it on the screen right now, which is strange, I have to say, because he seemed genuine here. Does everybody have any theories on why? This is kind of weird. This is kind of weird, and supposedly he also wore a dress in a radio interview. I can't find that. Oh, maybe, let's see. Oh, wow, this looks weird. Apparently, yeah, I did find it. This is kind of weird. I'll put it all on the screen in a second as well. The astute MINDSHOCK listeners here. He seems so genuine here in his testimony on what's going on in Hollywood. Not just the dress, but like his, you know, he put on these huge earrings and makeup. I mean, this looks weird. This is very, very weird. But Oprah does look shocked unless she's acting here. So this is 2006. This is very weird. I mean, it's very weird. Oh, supposedly this was Howard Stern's show. Wow, Stern. What a scumbag Stern is. Cammy says Dave's mother worked in some branch of the government, so yeah, I'm sure he's an MK Ultra asset. So was this the personality fracture here? And he memory holds some of this? And yeah, I mean, this is pretty weird. This is very, very weird. But he's still blowing the whistle nonetheless. So was he not supposed to blow the whistle? So is he committing Freemasonry sin here in blowing the whistle? Howard Stern has always been a degenerate. I'm going to do a podcast on Stern. I mean, some of his comments are so crazy. They've wiped a lot of these episodes. But lucky for you guys, Mind Shockers, I happen to have copies of a lot of Stern's old radio shows, not because I watched them, but because people posted them years and years ago, and they were so insane and degenerate. I mean, he's asking 18, 19, 20-year-old girls, like, just the most insane questions, not to mention, I wouldn't say forcing them, encourage them to declothe in front of a studio full of mostly men. It's just really weird while it's being recorded. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, Stern has to be one of the scummiest humans in existence. I mean, he has to be. It's just, wow. I don't think so people are saying he sold out. Didn't he sell out before he ever had his first show? I mean, okay, for the purpose of that podcast, I will dive into his first shows to see how those were. But he was admittedly a shock jock. And no, this is not called Mind Shock because of shock jocks. This is just about shocking the mind. But yeah, it's just Stern. I think Stern might have been a sellout and an asset from the very beginning. Unless, of course, he was maybe some kind of legit journalist or something at the very beginning. I'm not that familiar with his youth. Like his teen years. I'm not quite familiar, but we'll get into that. Let's continue this here.
Wear the dress. I don't want to wear the dress. I want to wear this dress. You know what I mean? This is, oh, gosh, this guy's so difficult. They leave. Now the producers come on, David would be so great. I mean, and then I started thinking about it. All the comics that I've seen, man, you know, strong brothers, why they be putting us in these dresses? But the minute it was clear, I was adamant, I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else. Guy comes back 10 minutes later, the whole new scene. Hot damn, how did you write the scene so fast? You know, it's like, so you gotta take a stand.
Okay, so that was Chappelle. That was one of the first mainstream references to dress wearing. Now, what were the implications that you can't get ahead? So here, I'm going to get into the next part here. I think, because who cares if some feminine goof wears a dress, right? Nobody cares. Is the whole shtick of selling your soul getting a tough guy like The Rock to wear a dress, to wear a tutu, to act in this humiliating fashion? This tough guy, is that what the humiliation ritual is about? It's not just about the ritual itself. It's about who is involved in the ritual. Because if you take a guy, like, I went over this on the 80s and 90s action movie decline, where you got a guy like Tom Holland, like Spider-Man, whatever. You have him in this feminine movie wearing makeup and eyeliner and all that, and possibly involved in some kind of homo scenes. To Tom Holland, that's not the same level of humiliation as putting The Rock in a tutu, right? Like, what's the level of humiliation to the person you're doing it to? And we're going to get into this with the female actresses in a moment, but with the guys, again, so with The Rock is curious, because The Rock was this #1 pro wrestler. Now, I was never a fan of The Rock. I was a pro wrestling fan. I was more into the classier guys, like Bret the Hitman Hart. I mean, that's a professional wrestler. He keeps it classy. The Rock and Stone Cold, these trash talking guys. Although, has Stone Cold ever wore a dress? Because that would be hilarious. Stone Cold Steve Austin doesn't seem to be the type of guy that you can get to wear a dress. But maybe I'm wrong. Let me double check. I know Stone Cold's done a lot of movies too. Yeah, I don't see Stone Cold ever wearing a dress. Stone Cold Steve Austin. But is that why he never blew up in A-list Hollywood movies? Is that why Stone Cold never got to the top of the top in Hollywood? Because he wouldn't wear a dress. $3,000 Trin in here. Bret Hart was my guy. Yeah, Bret the Hitman Hart. Lord Zed said Jeff Hardy. Yeah, the Hardy Boys were awesome. The Hardy Boys were pretty awesome too. Boys. And the Dudley Boys too. I was a big fan of the Dudleys. Putting people through tables. Okay. So you have The Rock here. So The Rock is interesting because we're going to get into John Cena next, but let's finish with The Rock. So The Rock came out strong with The Rundown, where Arnold Schwarzenegger literally passed him the torch. Yeah, but Schwarzenegger did Junior where he was pregnant, though. Let's not forget that. Actually, he did wear a dress in Junior. I'm going to put it on this. I forgot. I totally forgot about the movie. I know he was pregnant. Apparently, he was also pretending to be a woman. And obviously, Arnold, the top of the top in Hollywood, and also becoming the governor. Dave Scott, are you saying Bret Hart wasn't a classy pro wrestler? He wasn't some beer guzzler cursing everybody out, was he? Bret Hart was classy. Mary Shia, did you just get in here? Because Chappelle wore a dress in Robin Hood Men in Tights and apparently in a Stern radio interview. We just had the images up a few minutes ago. So Arnold did wear a dress. Now Arnold is passing the torch to The Rock in The Rundown. In the Rundown movie. So why does The Rock... So after The Rundown, which is a big budget, I mean, that's also with Walken, the Antichrist, according to Mel Gibson. And then he has Walking Tall. He has all these big movies. So why... He never really transcended into the top of Hollywood until he did the Tooth Fairy wearing this dress here. After that, he's all the way to the top, is he not? So now let's go to John Cena, which is quite interesting. So John Cena's story is very, very interesting. Because he had 2 Hollywood runs. He had 2 movie runs. His first run, which he refers to as failing hard. Failing hard. Yeah, Cammy said Dennis Rodman wore a dress multiple times. Here's the thing, though. With Rodman, I would totally believe Dennis Rodman cross-dressing was not a Illuminati humiliation ritual. I would totally believe that. Dennis Rodman is completely out of his mind, and I'm a big fan of him, both as a basketball player and as a movie star, even though he didn't do that many movies. Double Team with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Awesome film. But Dennis Rodman is so insane. I would totally believe that he cross-dresses because he feels like it and not part of Illuminati humiliation rituals. Because again, it seems like he had already. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But if you had to pick a guy that might have, yeah, and a diplomat to North Korea, if you had to pick a guy that did it without Illuminati humiliation ritual influence, I would pick Rodman. He might have done it on his own. So here we have John Cena. Now, some people might think his entire run up through the WWE was a humiliation ritual in and of itself. Because, I mean, John Cena basically just took the wigger character. So he's this pro wrestler wigger who's like the king of wiggers. And he turned this into an entire career in the WWE. I mean, I guess it was original. Did we not have any wigger pro wrestlers before John Cena? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just, John Cena is so cringe. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I would say this was also where the WWE was broken beyond repair, was the John Cena era. So he goes from wigger pro wrestler, making tons of money as the #1 WWE star. Now he wants to break into Hollywood. So his first run here in Hollywood is with these films. So there's nothing. I have seen all 3 of these movies. I don't see anything in any of them that can be construed as Illuminati humiliation ritual. I thought the Marine was kind of fun. I mean, someone who's a wigger pro wrestler, his performance in the Marine is actually pretty good. There's no wigger antics or anything. And same thing with 12 Rounds, and same thing with Legendary. Legendary is actually like an uplifting, I don't know if it was officially a Disney film or not, or if it was distributed by just whatever. Legendary was like a solid inspirational movie. Yeah, hold on, Cammy. We're going to get into what happened later with Cena. So this is Cena's first run. This is his first run. He has a couple of these movies. He did another movie called The Reunion, and that seems to be right in between his first run and his second run at Hollywood. Because after that, he's in those Will Ferrell movies, Daddy's Home and all that nonsense. I mean, those are just crap, obviously. He broke through to Hollywood through those movies. But in his first run here, these are, I don't know if I'd call The Marine and 12 Rounds wholesome. But again, I don't see anything in here that's Illuminati humiliation ritual. I just don't see it. Certainly not in Legendary. So now he moves on. As soon as it appears, he's willing to cross-dress. Like, he's doing comedy bits. He's doing even cross-dressing on random social media content. And then, of course, the Stanicki movie or whatever. I don't watch that. I can't. I mean, I basically watch none of the modern Hollywood garbage. But all of a sudden, you take a guy who supposedly failed in his first run. Now, all of a sudden, he's willing to cross-dress and humiliate himself. Now he's top of the top in Hollywood. Top of the top in Hollywood. Now let's hear his own words about what happened here and see if we can make sense of this. We have WWE wigger to low-level actor to cross-dresser top of the top Hollywood. Please be patient with YouTube. It's like glitching hard on this stream. It's like not letting me put stuff up on the stream again, similar to the Occult NASA podcast. But as long as we're not shut down, it doesn't appear it's going to shut it down at this moment anyway, so hopefully it'll play through here. But I have an interview with John Cena here talking about his first and second run in Hollywood, and there might be some clues here, so pay attention very closely to what he says. He seems to be revealing something through Freudian slips or otherwise, on what exactly happened. From his own mouth here. So this is the Fast X interview where he's talking about his first Hollywood run. Yeah, YouTube's doing serious throttling on this channel. I thought it wasn't related because it doesn't seem to do this on any of the other podcasts, like the non-controversial ones. There doesn't appear to be throttling. But this stream here and the Occult NASA stream were not good. But let's see what we can do here. It looks like it's going to...
You said, back, right, maybe 2009 period, you're like, okay, I'm just not doing movies again. You just did, in your mind, you didn't think it worked out. And it was maybe obviously it was part of the WWE kind of model. So like, does that give you some extra, like, kind of gratitude, knowing where you are now, looking back to where you were in 2009?
Let's just throw this out. I've been given a second chance at the movies. Who the hell gets a first chance? Like, what's going on?
Mr. 1-to-1, the wigger definition is the same in the UK and the US. It is definitely a ghetto rapper type character, but it's a white guy. Like, his WWE character was a wigger. I mean, and they were sort of popular in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, John Cena's rise was kind of mirroring the popularity of wiggers in suburbia of America. But yeah, listen to what he says here because he's going to reveal something.
And like I said, I'll have a lot more failures than successes. So when I began to pursue roles, and
I mean, even his posture here, look how docile and submissive he is. Even the way he's talking, like, there's no confidence here. This is a big jacked guy. And it's almost like he's a beaten dog here, beaten into submission. Now, pay attention to his words.
the initial roles that I found more riveting were comedy roles that I could spoof myself.
Almost like he's convincing himself or trying to talk himself into thinking that this is not humiliating.
And show another side of myself that I haven't been able to show in WWE.
So it's like he's framing it here as if this was his choice. As if this was his choice.
So then I began to look at, like, well, why am I doing this? Why am I drawn to this? Why do I now have passion for this as well as WWE? I love to tell stories. I don't want to go into the octagon. I want to go into the ring because I love telling stories through action. And I love those narratives. It is like a mini fast movie.
I mean, look at his expression and his face. It's like he's mentally completely gone. Because I remember Cena back in the WWE. Like I said, I didn't really watch him. I didn't like him. I think he was responsible largely for the decline of the WWE. But look into his eyes here. Everything from his eyes to his posture. It's like he's mentally gone. I mean, look at the energy on the left. So when he's in, he's full on wigger John Cena, like he's got electricity, like he's pumped. He's not taking any crap from anybody. And then now, look on the right, now he's wearing dresses and he's like mentally been programmed somehow.
We use to our disposal, we use the greatest tools we can to make the most mythical come to life. And that's what I enjoy. And once I found out I could.
And again, just look at his posture here. This was one of the first things that jumped out to me. Like, it's such a submissive, beaten dog type posture. And the mental scrambling to try to frame things of a certain way on why he so-called failed in his first run compared to his now he's in the biggest of the biggest Hollywood movies.
Be comfortable in different characters and be more vulnerable and take more chances. I really have now a passion for making film and making content and making TV.
So it's like to be more vulnerable, aka humiliate yourself. Like, it's kind of weird, right? Because it's not like he's taking deep, dramatic roles where he means vulnerable emotionally. Clearly, that's not what he means. He's not doing deep, dramatic movies. It seems like he's clearly trying to tiptoe around the subject here.
It really, I just did it for the wrong reasons.
I mean, does anybody believe that, Cope? He did it for the wrong reasons. So he's making The Marine, 12 Rounds, and Invincible, this uplifting story about wrestling, inspiring kids and adults alike. This wholesome story with Danny Glover as well. That was for the wrong reasons. Now he's in dresses for the right reasons. Is anybody following here? Yes, Dave Scott. It's like he's really dancing around it, being careful not to say something he shouldn't, but it slips out anyway. Why is he talking about being vulnerable? Again, that's not emotional drama here. We're talking about wardrobe choices. And now it's almost like he's trying to convince himself that he did it for the wrong reasons. Like The Marine and 12 Rounds, I mean, they're not great movies, but they're decent actioneers. And the wrestling movie was actually kind of good. I liked it. Like, keep in mind, I am not a John Cena fan, but that movie was decent. It was decent. Mr. One-to-One said, if he said it, he'd done it for the money. I'd respect that. Here's the thing, though. Wasn't he already one of the top-paid wrestlers ever? I mean, he doesn't need to make movies. He doesn't need to do anything. He could have retired a long time ago.
And I did it for what I felt was the right reasons, and now physically I'm a little different. Mentally, I'm certainly a lot more wise. I have a different perspective on everything.
Mentally, he has a different perspective on it. See, here's the thing. Yeah, Joyce B said 0 macho energy, 0, the opposite of his wrestling career. Correct. So this jacked guy with all these muscles, this athlete who was just beating people up, like, love him or hate him, regardless of the wigger persona, he had energy. You can't deny that. Can't deny that. Now it's like he's docile like a beat dog. Even everything from his posture to the manner in which he is speaking. And he's different mentally now, physically and mentally. I don't know what the physically refers to, whatever kind of rituals they went through, but mentally he's very different now. Very interesting.
And I do love the nuance of film.
I mean, is anybody else picking up on this level of Cope? He's framing it as the nuance of film. Because keep in mind, the context here, what was different about your first run in 2009 and now your current career in Hollywood? That was the question. That was the question.
And I respect the nuance of film. I understand why it takes so long to hang that light.
So he didn't understand how long it took to hang a light in working on The Marine, 12 Rounds, which had a lot of action set pieces, no doubt, sitting around while the lights had to be set up. I mean, he did these movies. Clearly he knew about this. So just the amount of Cope here. I mean, is there anybody who's not picking up on the amount of Cope for selling his soul? And he let it slip with the vulnerability, with being physically and mentally different. And now it's like he's trying to grasp at anything to explain away the nuance. I mean, this is crazy.
And I respect it because it's supposed to look a certain way.
I respect it because it's supposed to look a certain way. I mean, this is weird. And look at these two zombies, no offense. But look at these two zombies he's talking to. I mean, does anybody see anything behind their eyes? It's like there's nothing there. I have no idea who these people are that he's doing the interview with. But I mean, it's just a sad interview across the board.
And when you watch it on screen, it does feel a certain way. And I've been a part of a lot of bad movies. So like when you try to rush the process, well, you get what you get.
So did he explain away his first run as rushing the process? I mean, no doubt they probably weren't the longest shoots ever, but again, they were still solid movies. They weren't really worse than other movies coming around at the time.
So once again, I think through failure, I found out who I am and what I'm passionate about. And it's amazing you say that, because I remember that conversation vividly that I had with the one person who is kind of my one-man team. And I remember being like, yo, we're never doing movies again, are we? And he was like, you're right.
What? So this, none of, it's like he left out most of the story. So he got the Marine 12 rounds, wait, did I just forget the name? What was the other movie? Did I get the name wrong? Legendary, not Invincible. Invincible was the Mark Wahlberg movie. Yeah, Legendary, the wrestling movie with Danny Glover. And so Legendary was good. And now all of a sudden, like, what was the problem? That he wasn't getting these very top roles in the top of the top Hollywood? And he says, you're not making another movie again? What changed in the interim?
And here we are, you know.
Here we are. That's what changed. It's like he's trying so hard not to say certain things.
No, it's on an overnight sensation that's taken us 20 years.
I mean, this is just such a weird interview. Everything from the posture, the energy, how careful it is. He's talking about nuance. Like, what nuance is there on the Marine or 12? Like, what nuance? I mean, it's just so weird. It's so weird. So let's get to Kevin Hart now, because Kevin Hart is another one that kind of is breaking the veil. Like Chappelle and Kevin Hart both kind of brought this dress wearing in the public eye. So let's examine the entire Kevin Hart saga with breaking through Hollywood by wearing the dress. So he reaches a certain level, and then in order to get to the top of the top, that doesn't happen until after he wears a dress. Kind of weird, right? Kind of weird. I mean, maybe it's all coincidental. Maybe it really is all coincidental. Maybe everything's coincidental. I don't know. If YouTube allows this, I mean, I'm trying to play this clip. YouTube is not liking this stream for some reason. Yeah, a lot of people think Kevin Hart is weird. Well, also, in terms of Illuminati rituals, if Nick Cage never pissed even if he's part of the club, if he never pissed anybody off, perhaps he wouldn't have to wear a dress, depending on the nature of the usage of this particular Illuminati humiliation ritual. A lot of people think Kevin Hart is weird because a lot of people think Kevin Hart isn't really even that funny, so they're surprised why he's top of the top in Hollywood. Brad Pitt wore a dress on several different occasions, possibly even a Rolling Stone cover. Not sure about in a movie though. Alright, let's see if YouTube's gonna allow this clip. Highly controversial stuff coming up. Well, the purple dress on the right is certainly not a kilt. Also, a kilt to an Irishman might not be humiliating, but wearing a kilt by a non-Irishman for the purpose of humiliating him could classify it as a ritual. If YouTube allows me to play this, very glitchy tonight.
Dave Chappelle, another great comedian, said that, you know, in the industry, they tried to make him wear a dress. Have you ever ran into that with scripts? And is that something that, you know, you wouldn't do, you know, for
I definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross. You know, for me, I know what they are. They've yet to been challenged, so, you know, I don't have to speak on them. I was asked to dribble a basketball on a talk show this morning.
You look
said
good
no to
doing
that. Not that was a dress, but I was like, no, I'm gonna look stupid. You know, at the end of the day, you got to know that you're a brand. I'm a brand. You need to protect your brand at all times. When things happen that can possibly affect your brand, your brand can be diminished, and you don't want that to happen. So, you know, protecting my brand is definitely a priority.
And here come the Cardinals. And from the looks of it, the new pope is not Turkson. The new pope is 9-year-old Oscar nominee, Kavashene Wallace.
You know what's weird about all this? The role of Saturday Night Live. I mean, Saturday Night Live in and of itself seems to be very steeped in Illuminati occult symbolism. We'll be coming back to it numerous times. I mean, what do you think Kevin Hart is thinking here? Do you think he's thinking back on the interview where he said he would never wear a dress? What do you think is going on in the mind of Kevin Hart right here? Because it's not just about wearing the dress, though. It's about what is he being asked to do and how. Because, I mean, look at his expression here. I mean, this is crazy. He's being asked to portray a 9-year-old girl. This is weird.
Anyone saw this one coming?
Kavashene Wallace, of course, the first African American, the first female, and first child pope.
And what is the new pope doing?
And it's kind of, so what is this bit here? So not only is this guy wearing a dress, not only is he acting like a 9-year-old girl, but supposedly he's the new pope. So like poking fun at religion as well. I mean, just this kind of mockery, this kind of satanic mockery.
Pope Kavashene is lifting her arms into her signature muscle man pose.
Truly adorable, and everyone...
Is anyone else unsettled by watching this? Like, it just seems weird. First of all, what's funny here? I don't know what's funny here, but it's almost like very disturbing. It's almost like watching somebody have a mental health episode. It just seems very disturbing. Is anybody else disturbed by watching this?
Loves it.
Well, except for presumed frontrunner Cardinal Turkson, who does not look happy. But it looks like Pope Kavashene is doing the Dougie, and Turkson is loving it.
Well, I think I speak for all of us when I say, go Popey, go Popey, go.
And it appears as if Pope Kavashene is about to speak.
Key, how many?
The This, of course, translates from the Latin to who demand.
Ego sum hominem.
Which means I'm demand.
So he's dancing in a dress saying, I demand. I mean, like, this is so weird. I don't know. I mean, this is just very, very strange. Disturbing and strange.
And the arms are back up for another victory lap. A real grand slam.
He said, Kevin, you out here in Hollywood doing God knows what. Sex, drugs, money. Lord knows what you're into. Need to get a relationship with God. I said, don't talk to me about God. I'm fine, okay?
Don't talk to me about God. I'm fine. So was this just like a very... Did he just reveal what he's doing in Hollywood? I mean, this is really crazy. I mean, I don't know. Some people think he's pretty fruity, either by his own volition or because he's forced to do so in various Illuminati humiliation ritual. Part of the club? Is he part of the club? And we will go into next Cat Williams, of course. Cat Williams has said some mind-blowing things at the beginning of this year in January, and I think some people might have missed a couple of them. So we'll be getting into it. Yeah, there's something unnatural about his energy. Again, I have no idea. There is something weird about him. Like, if he was genuinely MK Ultra'd, I mean, I don't know. Is it just me or there's something weird about him? I actually thought he was decent in that one movie with the guy from Breaking Bad. Forgot his name. I thought that movie was decent, but everything else was just kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of weird. Man, this stream's really cutting out a lot today. Is everybody still with us? We just had a huge drop again. Lisa in the chat says, we are all being MK Ultra, being exposed to this stuff just at a different level and pace. Is everybody back? We just had a huge drop. Maybe I should have, the poll shouldn't have been whether or not YouTube would shut down. Yeah, I just got cut out, brought back again. Not whether YouTube would suspend the stream, but whether if it would just play games and drop the signal all the time. Because this isn't, you know, on some of the true crime streams that are even hours and hours long, this never happens. Okay, it seems like everybody's back. Some people weren't cut out. I don't know, okay, that's weird. Because we just lost like 20 people in the chat. We just lost like 20 viewers. But let's continue.
So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing...
You will tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that. I value that. I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it.
Damn. Is anybody surprised Cat Williams is just dropping this many truth bombs here? This is crazy. And for whatever reason, he's doing it January 3rd, 2024. Whoever missed it at the beginning, he opened up. It doesn't matter if you Diddy or whoever. That's how he opened it up.
They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard drug in his life and don't have no stories of doing nobody dirty. And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Cat because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script. How? That's why I'm saying, that's why I can't let Ricky Smiley say he was supposed to play Money Mike, because I wrote the words for Money Mike. I designed the hair for Money Mike. I collaborated with the wardrobe department and made outfits to make sure that no one in America would be wearing what Money Mike was wearing.
Yeah, I mean, look at the clear difference between the way Cat Williams is speaking and John Cena. I mean, just the level of difference here. It's as if he truly knows that nobody has any dirt on him because he never sold his soul. I'm not saying that's the truth. I don't know Cat Williams personally. I haven't followed him throughout his career. But his intonation and manner of speaking, I mean, it really is something crazy here. We don't usually see this level of confidence here. Again, like I said, it's either as if he believes he has the armor of God or he actually does.
I told him to go get the Prowler. I then told him to paint it purple. I told him don't have an actor playing a pimp. We could get an actual pimp, Archbishop Magic Don Juan, to play. Like, I did far too much work for somebody to come years later and try to tag along just for their own self-aggrandizement.
Why didn't Cube set the record straight? Terry Crews could have set the record straight. Mike Epps could have set the record straight. Why none of them set the record straight?
That's what you were supposed to ask him when he told you those lies that
but
no
I didn't
one's
know it
ever
was a
heard.
lie.
Right, but he's telling you something no one's ever heard of. Nobody has ever heard, oh, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was in a movie, and somebody said, y'all should switch roles. Like, this is a business.
But that's the thing, Kat. Normally, when people are giving you information, I'm thinking I'm hearing it for the first time, and they're giving information no one else knows.
You know what's weird, though? Cammy says here, Cat Williams ain't saying nothing new. A lot of what he said here in the Joe Rogan interview came off as mind-blowing to too many. The dude is playing a character on the real-world stage. Here's the thing, maybe. But the way this interview, the way the dialogue is playing out here, it doesn't appear to be manufactured like in 99.9% of all other media. So if that is all part of the grand 4D chess game where they intentionally wanted to make this seem real, because, yeah, I mean, it's strange because there seems to be real, genuine energy here by both of them in this conversation. Whereas in many other, including Joe Rogan, I don't know, Joe Rogan might definitely be a show. But in many other media interviews and all of these things, it just seems so fake. Like, look at the John Cena interview we just watched. And then you look at this one. There's a clear difference.
I've ever heard. So I'm taking them at face value.
These are this is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash.
Well, here's the thing. If Cat Williams went on Oprah and did this, that would be a little different. Like, I've never even actually heard of this particular show before. But I don't know.
And doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history. Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person.
You know what else is kind of interesting? Is it possible, if this is Freemasonry Illuminati related, Kevin Hart came in at a low level with these deals, and then they hit him with a certain ceiling? And as he went up through the degrees, he had to increase whatever rituals, one of them being the Illuminati humiliation ritual of wearing a dress, and then he broke through that previous level into the next level.
What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Dave Scott saying, is this a form of revelation of method? It might be. It might be of just the thing that strikes me with all these other shills, like, they just don't come off as genuine. He's speaking, it comes off so genuine. I mean, maybe it's just because, maybe that's why they picked him. If he is a shill himself, they picked him because of his ability here. But he is head and shoulders above genuine conviction than all these other shills.
They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium.
It's a cabal. How many people call it a cabal other than like really hardcore conspiracy theorists? The one thing that I'm kind of thinking here is 2024, there's a significance here in why, because I know little bits and pieces of this have been said for a long time. I don't recall anybody putting all of this in a single interview like Cat Williams is doing here. I don't recall that. If people know, then they know. I know tons of people have been dropping tidbits for decades. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody just do it all like Cat Williams just did in a concise couple of minutes. The Court of Public Opinion said they've been making men wear dresses since Flip Wilson and Geraldine. That was the 70s. Yeah, we talked about that. But specifically marketing towards children on a mainstream wide level, I would pick Mrs. Doubtfire in 93 for that, where there was a shift where it went super mainstream. But yes, obviously, Lord Zed here, Shakespeare plays, dudes were women. This stuff has been going on for a long time, sure. I'm kind of focusing on just the past few decades and the difference in humiliation rituals. We're going to get into the women next because it was a little bit alarming. The poll that I did in the community tab, if you don't participate in the MINDSHOCK community tab, make sure you check that out. We do a lot of polls and I ask people a lot of questions. I did a poll on who are humiliated more by Illuminati humiliation rituals. 68% men, 22% women, too triggered to answer, 9%. Kill the Bank posted here was surprised to see that at the time he responded it was 100% men. It was a tough decision for me because women have to show themselves completely nude a lot of the time. I would have to think that is pretty humiliating, but I chose men because having to wear women's clothing, with some even having to kiss other men and act inappropriate, just seems so degrading to me. In the end, I feel like it was a toss-up. Johnny Oggs posted publicly men, privately women. And I would say it's all been publicly done, and we're going to get into why in a moment here. And it's actually, I'm kind of shocked nobody's talking about it. Because like I mentioned at the beginning, it's like the feminists pick issues which are kind of non-issues to be outraged over, and then the real issues where women really are degraded and humiliated, they completely ignore or pretend it's empowerment. And we're going to get into that in a moment.
They rock with who they rock with, and they don't with who they don't. But I'm not scared of being the competition any more than you were when you lined up across from a superior team. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources, and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't.
Wow.
Because Shannon Sharp got to be a different person than that other person.
Absolutely.
And he always was. That doesn't change when I change teams. That remains the same. That's how a legacy is built. So all of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out.
Shortcut takers. What did he just reveal there with shortcut takers? I mean, the amount of truth here is just absolutely insane. I mean, just absolutely insane. Cammy, I went over Bill Cooper in a podcast. Pretty deep dive into Bill Cooper. I also have an extensive summary of his book on in the literature playlist on MINDSHOCK.
But he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, there's 3 other black guys on there. Woo! Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get there.
The Court of Public Opinion says, Bruce, did you know of Cat when they were trying to make him look crazy a couple years ago? Not extensively. Not extensively. I did not follow him. I thought it was weird, but I didn't really do a deep dive. I mean, it's almost like he's testifying here. The way he's speaking here, I mean, it's also different. The Joe Rogan interview was not quite like this. It was a little bit like it. It's almost like he's testifying here. It's just crazy, and he seems very genuine.
I told him no. What y'all do?
I mean, just even the way he's saying this. So he refused Weinstein's advancements, and then he goes to all these other people, and he said no. And he's wondering how many other people said no to Weinstein. And we're going to get into Weinstein in a moment as well.
And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. Behind my back, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular old comedian that's bitter and jealous. But in my face, no. The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about.
And something as simple as that, like, does that not resonate? They pay you to not talk about things they don't want talked about. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, the fact, I know this went semi-viral, but the fact that it didn't go even more viral, I mean, this is just insane. This is just absolutely insane. And his testimony, again, let's compare the way Cat Williams is speaking here and the way John Cena was speaking in the interview that we just went over. I mean, this is just night and day. Rebecca said here, Cat is untouchable, I would guess, because he has not put himself in any compromising situations nor accepted any favors, apparently. So this is twofold. As someone mentioned in the chat earlier, they think Cat's a shill, and his role here is to speak the truth as part of revelation of the method, which is why he was chosen. Otherwise, maybe they would have killed him off, right? Why would they have trouble killing people? It seems like a lot of people have strange deaths, and especially celebrities. But yeah, he might not have sold out, and I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
They tell you that themselves. I can't do that because Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he had 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows. He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Cat Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people.
This guy's hilarious in the way that he's just destroying the narratives. Like, the matter-of-fact fashion in which he's testifying here. I mean, this is great. This is absolutely great.
And lost because Cat Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig. And I went in and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore.
If he's lying, see, here's the thing. If he's lying, he must be one of the most talented liars. The way he just rolled all of that with conviction on the fly. I mean, okay, maybe he is a shill, but to me, he seems the least shill-like out of probably anybody I have ever seen. I can't think of anyone who seems less shill-like. I mean, even hardcore conspiracy theorists sound like more like shills than this guy. I mean, this guy has genuine written all over him. I mean, it's really impressive, actually, I have to say. His delivery and the way that he's able to roll all of this on the fly. I mean, it's crazy.
Imagine him coming to tell you another story where he got so big and it was Bernie and them's fault because they wanted to be movie stars. What? You called Ocean 11 to get that nigga's part. What do you mean you didn't want to be a movie star? So on the behalf of Bernie.
This guy's like a fact-checking machine. I mean, he's crazy. I think that's just you, Dave Scott. I'm showing no drop in stream on my end. I think everybody else is still here. That might just be your connection, Dave Scott.
I would have to say what I have to say.
Have you ever been on tour with any of these guys?
Every guy I mentioned to you is not funny out there in real life.
I mean, just the unapologetic nature. I mean, look at this guy's face. He makes no apologies. I mean, this is just, what a breath of fresh air in general media. I mean, he makes absolutely no apology. It seems like he's just calling it how it is, making absolutely no apologies for it.
So no. Faison's never done his own tour in 30 years. Steve Harvey don't do stand-up no more. Cedric doesn't write. I'm sorry, he doesn't write. Ricky Smiley has been playing the same old black woman forever. Like, you can't get a young fan base with that. Like, you gotta be doing karaoke around the country to make that work.
Right.
And he is.
And that's another thing, too, just looking at, like, there's no Freudian slips. There are no micro-expression tells. Because even if someone's a shill, I mean, they'd have to be an extremely well-trained shill. Because even Alex Jones has tells and micro-expression. That doesn't mean he's lying, per se, obviously. But that does mean there's something else going on. With Cat Williams here, I'm not seeing any signs of deception. There's literally nothing here. This guy, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, Dr. Corbeau here, you can still be a shill by telling the truth. Yeah, we just went over that. If he is a shill and his role here was simply to tell the truth, then maybe. But I don't know. Again, he seems the less shill-like out of anybody I can even remember. He seems the less shill-like.
But I'm a stand-up comedian. This is my 19th 100-city tour. I'm not gonna have a conversation with these lazy bums that'll take a shortcut at any point. Yes, it's easier for you to juice than to get in the gym, but you don't get to bring that body in here talking crazy.
Talk about how good you look.
What? No, there's too many comics out there that are putting their life on the line to tell these jokes, man.
Okay. Let's get to your upbringing. We're going to circle back and we'll get some...
I want to protect him real quick, because you had said for the Kings of Comedy, it was in 2018, 2019, but did you mean 1999? Because it came out in 2000, so I just want to make sure.
No, I didn't. No. So what I meant to say was, remember, he said I couldn't do stand-up anymore. I had 7 TV shows. I said he didn't have any of those TV shows at the time.
I know you talking about Cedric.
Joke stealing from Cedric.
Cedric.
Okay,
So you had said that 2018, 2019, but it came out in 2000, so I just want to make sure.
Okay, no. What comes out in 2000?
The original Kings of Comedy.
Right. I'm on BET's Comic View, and they're using this as the commercial in 1998. Okay. That's why I'm saying, yeah. So if I said the dates wrong,
let's go back and clear that up.
Okay.
You said, I had Cedric on here, and I asked him about the joke stealing, and he said the timeline doesn't add up.
Correct.
To that point, you say.
Right. So he thought that I was just a no-name comedian and that he could take this joke and nobody would know.
Right.
The issue was that I had already done this particular joke on BET's Comic View twice.
Right.
It had done so well on BET's Comic View that they had made it part of the commercial. So part of the commercial of make sure you tune in to BET was you seeing me doing this joke.
Right.
And this joke is one of those jokes in comedy where you set it up and it takes a little longer to set it up, takes about 3 minutes. But then you're just hitting them with jokes after that because you don't have to set it up.
Right.
Mark Curry had already helped me work on this joke because I thought it was good because I was getting a standing ovation on it. He had me go back in the lab and help me craft it to be an even more powerful joke. So this is not just a random joke. This is my very best joke, and it's my last joke, and it's my closing joke.
Okay.
1998, I'm doing this joke. It's on Comic View. Cedric comes to the Comedy Store. He watches me in the audience. He comes backstage. He tells me what a great job I did and how much he loves the joke.
And here's another thing, too. Someone who's lying, they wouldn't just immediately jump into this very detailed explanation of the timeline. Somebody who's lying would have gotten immediately uncomfortable, dodged the question, or tried to explain it away. He literally went into the most detailed explanation possible. Now, that doesn't mean he's not lying, but it just means that he's either the most talented liar ever, or he's telling the truth here, because to be able to be that specific, I mean, this is crazy. This interview was January 3rd, 2024. I don't know if it's coincidental that he didn't do this interview in 2023. I don't know if there's some kind of meaning to as soon as it turns 2024, the truth will be revealed. That's what he said at the beginning of it. He said all will be revealed.
2 years later, he's doing that as his last joke on the Kings of Comedy. And he's doing it verbatim. He's just changed my car into a spaceship. Him and Steve had already apologized for me, so I gave him a pass for a decade. Why would you sit here and be like, I saw Cat 30 times, and Cat didn't do, as I stand before you, Shannon. I would have bust Cedric's stomach. There was nothing that would have kept me from one of these in that patch right there. Like, are you kidding me? Why would you downplay me like that?
How many people also testify by saying, as I stand before you? Again, not that it proves that he's not lying, but there's just something so genuine about this guy. Cammy is saying here, I don't believe Cat is lying. I'm just saying he has nothing to worry about because I believe he's just playing a character because he was told to or he's allowed to without permission. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm not saying he's not a shill. I'm just saying he appears to be the least shill-like out of literally anybody I've ever seen. And he did drop plenty of names, though. He dropped a ton of names.
Why did I give you a pass if you were just gonna lie? And so that's what I'm saying. Like, they're all a group. Cedric, Steve, Ricky, they've been a group. Everybody knows that. They've been aligned. And there are these alliances in comedy. And if you stand against them, then they sometimes have a problem. But we don't let that change the content, because that's all you know me for, is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Now,
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, he dropped tons of names. He's talking about Epstein Island, Chris Tucker. I mean, he literally dropped so many names. P. Diddy, which is, I mean, that's a huge name to drop, obviously. And now everything that's coming out all these months later, it's kind of crazy.
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times.
Wow. That's crazy.
4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no.
Damn. Wow. Wow.
You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Can I need to know?
I got the receipt for everything I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it so freely. Because he has the receipts. I can't help but think there's something more going on here. Like, if he is... Like, if he is a Freemason himself, and he's doing this all within accordance of the rules of Freemasonry without lying, I mean, could that explain it? I don't know.
You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
Because early on, you was accusing me of being...
Cat, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because I'm favored by God. Like, when I see people's wives and stuff, I don't even look at them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to look at nothing I don't want to have. Because I know how blessed I am. If I look at it, I got it. That's how Diddy be feeling.
No, come on, man. Come. So, you're not supposed to look at anything that you don't want.
Yaya Kelly asks, wonder if the feds have talked to Cat. I mean, if we're taking bets, probably, right? Unless, again, he does have some kind of protection from above. Or if he is a Freemason, he's doing this all within the rules. So that way there's no issue.
Not me personally, just because God has given me literally everything I ever even pump faked like I want.
What? I mean, this guy is just amazing. I've never heard anybody speak like that. God has given me everything I've even pump faked to have wanted. I mean, wow. All I can say is wow.
And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing.
So, final thoughts here on Cat blowing the whistle on all this. We got the dress wearing. We have... I'll go over a recap at the end here, because now we're going to move into female actresses and Hollywood humiliation rituals specifically for the female actresses, and the difference between, let's say, an artistic film, regardless of what the content is, whether it has sex, nudity, whatever, and a specific Illuminati humiliation ritual, because I don't believe every single scene that's weird is specifically an Illuminati humiliation ritual, but there are certain ones that definitely stand out. If YouTube, again, will allow. I wonder if that wheel around his neck also is Ezekiel's wheel from the Bible, referencing the movement of the celestial sphere in the heavens above. Court of Public Opinion says he won't lose a thing because he doesn't need the backing of the powerful. He actually has talent. I wonder, see, here's the thing. If 99% of people in Hollywood are compromised, then they will lose everything. And if there's a 1% that's not, and they're not in a position to lose because of it, if there is some kind of occult spell over Hollywood, movie magic, Tinsel Town, if there's some kind of spell or rules, occult rules, perhaps that does allow the 1% to not be harmed by the other 99%. Who knows? YouTube's playing some games here. What's going on? We're going to get into some really controversial stuff coming up even more, so... So we're going to go through a few different movies, and again, I'm going to compare scenes that seem to be Hollywood Illuminati humiliation rituals and many, many scenes that are not, just so we can kind of see the difference here. So we're going to go through the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and today, because there seems to be this huge shift happening now where it's so obvious. And in the 80s, for example, I think it was a lot less obvious.